Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, in Central Europe, in Slovenia, and so forth, and all the viewers in Turkey and maybe also in America. My guest tonight is an infamous Dr. Red Pill Turkey, but he also has a very picturesque lifespan. He does. He's a surgeon. He's a surgeon. So, Doctor Red Pill, would you tell us something, at least our Slovene public, for those who don't know you, who are you actually? If your real name is not a secret, and what do you do?
I'm known as Dr. Red Pill in Turkey and also in the United States as well. But I'm a real doctor. I'm a plastic reconstructive and aesthetic surgeon, and I have dual practice in the United States and Turkey as well. And then I practice on the Mediterranean. I have a channel on Red Pill and women issues, masculinity in Turkey. My primary audience is Turkish. And then Alice was kind enough to invite me on his channel, and then we'll have a good chat tonight.
Yeah, I hope. Actually, I'm sure we will have, because we talked a little bit a couple of hours ago, yesterday, I believe, and we have many topics in common. So one of the first reasons I called you, I asked you to come to my stream, is that to discuss this stereotype we Slovenes and probably all the Europeans have, that, for example, countries like Turkey that are at least somehow connected to Islam, that these countries women obey, sort of say that we basically all know the problems with liberalism and sexual women's sexuality, female sexuality in Europe and in the so-called West. But we probably all also believe that in Turkey, for example, you have your women at bay. Yeah, but is it so, Doctor Red Pill?
So it's like this. I think Europe has, at least, I mean, let me give you a little bit of history. Okay, so Europe has a little bit of a wrong impression on Turkey. Mostly, Turkey is a secular country. When Turkey was founded in 1923 by Mustafa Kemal Atatürk, he's our first president and our leader. It was founded as a secular country. Okay, but over time now, and it was a secular country for a long time. But in the last 20 years, the effect of Islam is growing in Turkey. And maybe that's what Europe is perceiving as Turkey to be. But Turkey is completely different from other Islam countries. I mean, most of the population is Muslim, obviously. But it's completely different. The culture is completely different from Arabic countries. Now, Turkey is unique in the sense that it is a country in the crossroads of east, west, north, and south. So we have it's not like multicultural, but there are a lot of effects of throughout the centuries, even before Turkey was founded. You know, tribes of like thousands of years ago were crossing here, and so it's a really diverse population, you can say. But when you look at man and woman relationships, maybe Europe perceives Turkey as a pure Islamic country, but I think a pure Islamic country in terms of woman and man relationships would be probably Saudi Arabia and maybe a little bit Iran or maybe Pakistan. But when you, but Turkey is not like that. Okay, even in the Islamic, fundamentalist people in Turkey, there's still among the women, feminism is growing, and man-woman relationships are seriously altered. So whatever you have in Slovenia, I mean, I can tell you, we almost exactly have exactly the same in Turkey in terms of man-woman relationships. So, because now with the advent of social media and especially Instagram, everybody sees each other all around the world, and especially women, which are affected by these changes, want to live like their counterparts in Australia, in the United States, in Norway, in Slovenia. So everybody wants to be the same. Especially the young girls want to follow the same trend. So, yeah.
Yeah, thank you for this comment, because this is exactly why I believe that you're a rich addendum to the red pill, to the global red pill community, which is basically Western red pill uh, community that presumes a lot of stereotypes about other parts of the globe. For example, the red pill community, the Western red pill community, believes that the same things I mentioned before, that there are countries in the world that are vastly different than the West. For example, Orthodox Christian countries, or Islamic countries, even Turkey. Although you mentioned that Turkey is not a your everyday stereotypical Islamic country as some Arab countries are, for example. But yeah, you're a nice addendum to the knowledge the Red Pill community brings to us about the relationship between men and women. Uh, that's why probably also Rolo Tomasi invited you to his, and that's why you came to the. I don't know what's that podcast that two Black Americans run. You were also on Fresh and Fit or something. Yeah, they're Fresh and Fit. Yeah, they're also the part of this
Yeah.
Red Pill
So
community.
I basically met Rolo in 2018 when it was when I was taking the red pill at that time, and then you know we our friendship grew, and then we were in contact, and now hopefully we're going to do some podcasts together as well. But basically, what I brought into the manosphere and you know, I would say the American red pill community is that I lived in the United States for 20 years. Okay, I still have you know a home there and I still work there, but I know both cultures. I know both the Eastern culture and the Western culture, and then so that's one thing that is unique to them, that I'm bringing international news from like another part of the world in terms of man-woman relationships and how women behave in other cultures. Yes, they do behave a little bit different, but hypergamy doesn't care and it doesn't change. Okay, woman is woman. So it's the same software in there. It's the same thing. Another thing that I bring is because of my profession, I'm a plastic surgeon and I work with women. 95% of my patients, my clients are females. So you know, I understand women. I understand what they want at different ages. I can understand their psychology. So I bring a different perspective, plastic surgery, cosmetic surgery, into red pill. So in that sense, I think it's very unique where I stand.
What do women want? I remember a couple of years ago, I went with my ex girlfriend and my best friend to Belgrade. Belgrade, it's not so far away from Maribor. It's I think it's 500 kilometers away from Maribor, but it's obvious that Belgrade is more connected to, if I may say, Istanbul culture, or
Yeah.
I,
So
for example.
yeah,
And
actually,
we were all in awe because all the girls, we went on a thing that's called Splavovi. It's kind of a discotheque on Danube in Belgrade, and all the women, all the young women they had their job done on their lips, and they were all they were all you could see that they all went to a doctor, to a physician, and we were all in awe. But nowadays, 5 years afterwards, you can also see the same results in Slovenia. So this was only as an off-topic
Yeah.
trivia.
So I'll tell you something about. So I went to Belgrade. There was a conference there, microsurgery. 2018. It's a beautiful city. I loved it. I couldn't stay for a very long time. And I also had a Serbian girlfriend at one point when I was a resident. She was a doctor as well. So I got to know the Serbian culture a little bit, and it is a little bit connected to the Turkish culture because it was under Ottoman, rule for like 300-400 centuries. So there was a lot of genetic exchange. There was a lot of cultural exchange. And now I think, we like the Serbians like us. So they come to Istanbul and they go to Belgrade. So two nations are friends now. So I'll tell you my observations about Western woman, but I like to tell my observations about Slavic woman as well. So, but let's start with plastic surgery. When you do plastic surgery, and then Rollo always says, obviously, beauty and sexuality is a woman's number one and only source of power. And that is absolutely true. A woman at any age, they want to be beautiful, but more importantly, they want to be younger. They want to return to those younger days where they were getting so much attention. They were grabbing more attention, not necessarily when they were beautiful, but younger. Because beauty is perceived as youth, and youth is perceived as beauty. Okay, so and they both are perceived as fertility, and it all comes down to this: why do we want to be with younger women? Because we want them to have our children. We don't want to be with someone who's 60 years of age who cannot bear a child. It's not about sexuality or a female's experience in sexuality when they get older, but you want a younger woman to bear the child. Okay, so now the plastic surgery is very common now, and it's everybody wants to look younger. Everybody wants to look, of course, they want to look beautiful. So just like doing a makeup in the past, when the plastic surgery was not very common, women used to put lipstick and eye makeup or whatever they wanted. They do their hair, but now they're getting their eyelids done. They're getting lips done. They're getting nose done. I mean, at one time they were touching themselves with a lipstick. Now we're touching them with a knife. Okay, and they're willing to pay the price. It's painful. It's costly. There's a recovery time. There's risk of complication. But I think for a woman, the need is so strong that they're willing to pay anything to achieve that youth and beauty. I mean, imagine that. Just to stay on the sexual market, you're letting someone, cut your face and do a facelift just so that you can stay on the sexual marketplace maybe 2 more years. Okay.
Do you think that what's the original source of this? Did men actually want for women to look like that? This typical modern OP look with such lips and all the other jobs you can do to them, or is this basically women competing with each other, and just the technology basically came that wasn't there before?
So this is an interesting question, and I think Rollo is talking about this more and more. They say Rollo is saying, like, if you want to earn money, just offer women a dream and they will grab it. And then we're basically offering them the source of youth. We're letting them drink from the fountain of youth. Okay, so they're gonna pay any price they want. I mean, we want. It's crazy. The technology is there. There's something called cosmetic surgery, and it's a source and demand. Like, they demand it, we give it. They demand more, we give it more. Okay, and at one point, we have to talk about the ethics of this. But more importantly, when women want, men give these things. Okay, And it is not a really source that's coming or a drive force coming from men. Okay, men not necessarily want more beautiful woman, but it is an intra gender competition that the women are competing with each other to stay on the same marketplace, to grab the attention of the men. Like, I'll tell you, there are so many men, if their woman is not that beautiful, it's still fine with them. But it's a competition among the woman itself that drives this force.
Interesting. Is there any difference? Okay, it obviously is, and it probably is, between women with higher intellect, for example, IQs above 120 and so forth, and their tendencies to get some job done, for example, lips and so forth. I will ask the simple question: Are only the stupid ones? Do only the stupid ones have these tendencies, or are the so-called intelligent women also prone to?
Yeah, I got the question. I understand the question. You're saying that when their level of intelligence goes up, would they do more cosmetic surgery? I mean, less cosmetic surgery. Less cosmetic surgery. Okay. Well, I will answer in a different way. Every woman in the world wants to be beautiful and young. Okay, so even the most intelligent ones will still get cosmetic surgery. But it's not about the intelligence of women. It's about the self-confidence of women. I see that the less confident ones are getting more cosmetic surgery, and especially they're getting younger cosmetic surgery. Okay, women who are happy, who are not on antidepressants, who are happily married, who are not as promiscuous, I should say, who does not want to be on the sexual marketplace too long. They have happily married, they got children. You know, there's something called mommy makeover, but still, that's my observation. They want to get less and simple cosmetic surgeries. Okay, whereas the ones that are not very happy in their lives, ones with body dysmorphic disorders, their self-image is altered. Okay, their life expectations are altered. They want to be this beautiful princess in Australia, kind of something like that. They want more cosmetic surgery, and they get addicted to cosmetic surgery, and they get cosmetic surgery at younger ages. So when I see a girl who's trying to get cosmetic surgery at 18 for just a little thing, I mean, I'm like, look, girl, good luck. You're going to have a hard life. Okay, you're going to be addicted to this. So the unhappy ones get it, I shouldn't say the intelligent or the unintelligent ones.
But who pays for their first operations, for example, at age of 18?
The first operation is usually paid by the parents, okay? And then the next operations, it's just the thing depends on when the operation is. You know, they get divorced, the husband pays for the operation through the alimony. Or they get a new, sugar daddy. The sugar daddy pays for the operation. You know, these are expensive operations. Sometimes they pay for the operation, but I've seen girls who have to draw, credit from the bank just to pay for their cosmetic surgery, and they don't even live in a good house. You know, it's just crazy because they don't want to invest in themselves. I mean, I see girls why don't you go to a language course, or why don't you learn a new skill by, no, I don't want a new skill. I want a rhinoplasty, because their whole power is their sexuality and beauty. And me being a plastic surgeon and seeing this is the proof of this concept. Thanks to Rollo Tomassi.
This is what I basically wanted to ask before, and I wasn't able to articulate it quite in such a manner. But it's not why it seems that the smarter the girl, the lesser the beauty. For example, I watched today a video of Brothers Tate. On one hand, going on Fresh and Fit with all those girls that are not even beautiful to me. all the jobs done and so forth, not quite smart and so forth. And I watched also the video Fresh and Fit where they hosted the daughter of Jordan Peterson, Michaela Peterson. Uh, what do you think, Michaela? I'm not sure if she did some job on her lips, or but it does not show so much on her. And I know that role and her had some sort of conflict and so forth. But in comparison to these young girls that went under knife for bizarre reasons, probably. Michaela looks like an intelligent 30-year-old woman that is not so much prone towards these operations. And I know the beauty is in the sense in the eyes of the beholder, but I would really love to hear your speculation on this question.
Exactly. So I watched that show very carefully. Okay, so I kind of analyzed Michaela Peterson as well. I do not think she is beautiful, and I do not think she's intelligent. She's pseudo-intelligent. Okay, she's raising on the shoulder of her father. Okay, and she just wants to be a celebrity. She just wants to be a YouTube celebrity. But the way she speaks, the way her facial expression is, she's not feminine at all. Okay, I mean, if you like leave a cleavage here, okay, you got some boobs, everybody's going to look at you. But Michaela, like in 5 years, nobody's going to look at you. Okay, I am analyzing your beauty as a plastic surgeon. I am sorry, girl. If you want surgery, you can come to me. I'll take care of you. But that's a joke.
Yeah.
But, so the way she speaks, I think she does not have a lot of self-confidence. Okay, and she grew up in a very problematic family, in my opinion. So somehow she's trying to prove herself to the world and to her father. Okay, so she's doing this YouTube. She's trying to act intelligent, but she's not intelligent. And the way she puts her lipstick on, it doesn't even look good on her. So, but still, even as an intelligent woman, she still wants to be beautiful because that's how men choose women. Okay, especially high-value, intelligent men. Okay, high-value, intelligent man, of course, we want an intellectual conversation, but we have our friends, male friends, but we want an equally intelligent woman, but we want that woman to be sexy, feminine, taking care of us in the bed, in the kitchen, of course. Plus, we want intelligence. Now, can we find that in one person? Impossible. But now, the world has confused sexuality and femininity. People are emphasizing more on female sexuality, but forgetting about femininity. And women think that when you are a sexual creature, you are equally feminine. That is not true. Okay. And here's another point that I want to make regarding intelligent women. So when you go to some like high-end jobs, okay, where females are, where they're CEOs or they're like high-end doctors, high-end lawyers, you will see even, you know, they look good when they're younger. They are not very good-looking women, and this is the reason. They are they know that their beauty are not, that level is not. So in order for them to succeed in life, they know they have to work and earn a living. Okay, so that's why I think they concentrate more on their academic achievements to get to a spot, you know, and earn money. And you know, in today's world, when most of them are single women because they destroy themselves by default by getting to that level. You know, they will not have high value men around them. That's number one. And number two, usually, especially in Turkish culture, okay, when a girl is beautiful, she thinks that she does not have to work. She's entitled to a good man. That every girl thinks that they can be a model. That's why they don't work. So you don't see very beautiful women at high-end jobs. But when they get the money at high-end jobs, they still want to get cosmetic surgery to look like their younger counterparts. So it's like the whole algorithm makes great sense to me.
Yeah. Okay, this is an interesting commentary. It's bizarre to me that Jordan Peterson was basically the guy who started the red pill movement. He was huge back in 2016, 17. My red pill journey started with him. I can't believe it. But this is probably also the interesting question. Dr. Jordan Peterson still probably presents a some sort of father figure for many in the West, probably also many young men in Turkey. But it seems that even this father figure, taken as realistically as possible, wasn't able uh, to properly how should I put it, raise his daughter. Uh, what do you think about this father daughter relationship? We know they're both public figures, and so we can do it. It's not something immoral. They're
Of
out
course.
there.
So here's the thing. There are two aspects to this thing. One of the aspect is related to Jordan Peterson himself, and I like the guy. He really helped a lot of young guys. There's like a lost boys generation, which I've noticed that we also have in Turkey. So hopefully, I'm trying to be like a fatherly and big brotherly figure to my followers here. But Jordan did a very good, like he had a job he needed to do. He did it. He did it very good. However, he is not a totally masculine man. Okay, so he was not able to raise his daughter as a masculine father. Okay, he was not able to do what he preached. Okay, but just like Rollo says, he's not someone who understands red pill. He's a beta guy. He's blue pilled, but he's showing these young guys and young boys a good way. So I appreciate him. I support him. But his teachings are good, but not enough. Because in order to be a young man after a young boy, you have to understand the woman in order to survive in this world. Okay. Otherwise, you will not have a healthy relationship. Number one. Number two, when you look at him, he was battling depression. So it's sad. As a doctor, it is sad. But there is something called depression. You can be very, very depressed. That's fine. Cobra Tate, he does not believe in depression, and I somewhat agree with him in that sense. If you have enough masculinity, if you have enough strength within you, you can battle depression. Plus, you don't have to have depression. Okay, but of course, as a doctor, I have to say there is something called clinical depression. So, we need psychiatrists there, everything. But Jordan, I think, is not a very strong person within himself. So these are the factors that are driven from him. Now, there's also a factor driven from the daughter. Okay, I mean, imagine a daughter growing up in Canada in a very woke society. 21st century. Your father is a very high level professor. Okay. So she's exposed to a lot of things, and she has, she's trying to prove herself to her father maybe, but there's not a really masculine father, like a feminine daughter relationship. Okay, so he was not enough for that. But in addition, when Michaela becomes a woman, okay, this is the fundamental truth. You cannot control women, okay? And at the end of the day, yes, she's the daughter of a, highly known psychologist. But at the end of the day, she is a woman, and she will act like a woman. She wants attention of men. She wants to, go have, good times with a lot of boys, So she wants to do things of the 21st century way, modern things. So you cannot control. So there are two factors to this thing. So when I see that relationship, I think it's just everything fits into its place.
Do you think that there's any country. For example, we talked yesterday, probably I told you about the situation in Slovenia, where if you're a random wagey or a working class man that works for someone and doesn't have a paycheck that can feed the whole family, for example, or a woman has to work for someone else, for some other man, and if that's the situation with you, then you don't have any control above your woman, and her chances to go astray are so much bigger, so much vaster than yours, for example. So the random working class man in Slovenia, for example, and this is probably the the reality in the whole West, and probably with Turkey also, is so much inferior towards his woman in the sense of their own intra competition, the intra relationship competition. She has so many more chances to go astray, and there's a state that helps her, and there's an environment that goes against the working class man. The environment always knows that this man has no power at all, and it mocks him, and it it's happy when his woman goes astray, and so forth and so forth. What's your opinion on this topic?
Did like wait a minute? Did you say that he, like the blue collar worker, is happy when the wife goes and does other guys?
No, no, no. I mean that, if you take into consideration their intra relationship competition, that a blue collar worker, a working class man, a wagey, has no chance at all to compete with his woman. And when you listen to red pill data, for example, from Rolo, or when you listen to the dates, for example, they do seem to speak as if there are some natural laws that are righteous, in the sense that there comes the there come the years when the woman loses her power over man because she's too old, and the younger come, and so forth. But these laws seem to be the laws for the elite man, not the working class man. Do you understand my question?
Yeah. So I think we have a similar problem in Turkey, but I think it's all around the world. Okay, women intrinsically do not want a working class man to begin with. Okay, however, when they start hitting the wall, and I call it as like her eggs are becoming omelet. Um, that's an expression we use in Turkey that is created by me, and we even have an emoji describing that when she's 35 and the eggs have become omelets. So she has to be with someone, okay, and then that's when she goes for the working class man. Okay, however, it creates a very bad dynamic because now she has married a slave that worships her, okay, and then he's ready to do anything to pay for her so that he could keep her, so she wouldn't go, okay. But I have also seen women getting married to wealthy guys, but still that does not hold the women from cheating. Okay, so I think it lies within the state of masculinity of the guy and how he holds the frame, so that he can hold the woman in a straight. But it's becoming more and more difficult. And we also have a problem in Turkey that a lot of the young men, we have an economical crisis in Turkey. So there are a lot of jobless young guys who have no hope for the future. plus they don't have hope to get married, because getting laid, their only chance is getting married to get laid. Okay, so there's a big group of people who are hopeless right now, really hopeless. And women want the better and better and better. So, the gap is growing in Turkey. So the same problem you have in Slovenia, we have exactly the same problem in Turkey.
Yeah, this is what I had in mind. I mean, this red pill knowledge is, I mean, it's inevitable that it came to the red pill community, but it's also, it seems to me, if I may speculate, that it's not sociologically holistic philosophy. It doesn't take in consideration all those men without the hope. This knowledge, although all the knowledge is basically good, at least in the long term for society, but this knowledge can be used um, practically only by the men who have at least potential. For those who have no hope, although maybe someone would say there is no man without the hope, there's always the hope that you make yourself a better man, for example. There's always a hope. This could be true, but as you said, there are many men that are without the hope. There are working class men, and they what should they do with all this knowledge? For example, yeah, when she's 30 years old and when she's done all her penises, now she wants to marry safely, and you're the one she's going to how to solve this obviously toxic relationships that take place. For example, a woman that didn't get a high value man and satisfies herself with an average working class man, and then she's resentful and she wants to cheat and so forth. Is there any chance to 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 solve this toxicity?
Okay, so the short answer is no. There is no freaking way to solve it, because you cannot literally and practically red pill every single man in the world. There will always be man slaves in this world who are blue pilled and beta, and that's how the system goes. This is a matrix. This is a system where men have been enslaved. Okay. But not only they're enslaved by the system, okay, but they're enslaved by their own minds. So you cannot change. The change starts within the mind, okay? For those who are lucky enough to find the red pill, and especially if you're lucky enough to find the red pill when you are a young man, you have to build yourself slowly and with very hard work and discipline. Understand the red pill, but also understand the ways of the world and understand masculinity. You have to really put yourself first and work hard and become the best version of yourself, but not I mean, that's a cliche word, best version of yourself. You just have to become a really strong masculine man in all ways, okay? And when that time comes, you will be the one to choose. And I would advise, of course, you will be smart enough not to choose those women who have been running all their lives and now they want a husband. They want a rich husband. Okay, you will be not smart enough to do that. So, but the practical answer is the system will not change because the system auto feeds itself. Okay. There will be more blue pill beta men that are enslaved in their own minds then they're actually red-pilled, masculine, high-value men in this world. So,
As someone asked the question, is polygamic marriage illegal in Turkey?
No, it is not, but it is practiced illegally in some areas of Turkey, and that is overlooked by the government. So in some areas, traditionally, when you have more than one wife, the system will not say anything unless one of the wives will take you to the court, which never happens because it's a cultural thing. But I would say it is very, very rare. Okay. However, cheating is very high in Turkey. And I think women cheating, I'm talking about marriages, women cheating is equally high, if not higher than men cheating. So you think it's not, but it is. It's crazy, isn't it?
It's
I mean,
crazy.
and the cheating goes not only in the high level celebrity levels. I mean, it goes in every little town, everybody's like, doing things. So
What are the causes? Internet, Facebook, Instagram. Perhaps was it perhaps always so? Without internet, were men basically the majority of men basically always beta pussies and so forth. It just doesn't. Just without internet or sorry. You know the question.
yeah. So here's the deal. Look, I think the main reason and how the woman cheat is this little tool. This little tool, they can reach everywhere in the world. They can reach every man with this. And one of the red pill guys called this the box of dicks. Okay, woman can reach this. Now, if you give this to the woman, hypergamy will find its way to another guy through this. That's it. It's that simple. And when there's opportunity, the woman will take it. Okay, they will go for. I mean, women do not need a reason to cheat. Okay, when men cheat, and I have a little different thought on men's polygamy versus women's cheating. Okay, but we'll talk about it in a different time. But women do not need a reason to cheat. Okay, first they cheat, and then they will find a reason.
Yeah, probably
men,
true.
Men cheat for one reason, my friend. They just want to go for that chick. That's it. No, it's not complicated.
Yes, it's probably okay. We will talk about this topic some other time. But yeah, it is probably not extravagant to say that men's cheating is not so problematic as women cheating. Exactly because of the fact they just want to get it out of their system and go on. Although I know some women that think and feel, at least I perceive this so exactly like men.
That's so. Look, I agree with Andrew Tate about, and he literally put it in nice words when he said that. He said, "Men cheat, but women betray," and I believe that. Those are two different concepts. And when I said, I had a video on men having multiple women at the same time. I think it's okay. It's not like polygamous marriage kind of thing. I think it is okay for strong men. And if you look at throughout history, all around the world, from the Amazon tribes to Australia to Africa, all the strong men and rulers had multiple women. And it is women who want those leaders. So this is how.
Yeah, man. It seems that man polygamy is a hyper historical reality that you cannot rule out with some laws, for example. And it shows even nowadays. It's true that the little minority of hyper successful men probably get all the young pussies that count. To be frank about it, does this rule do I speculate too much? Do I hypothesize too much and without evidence, or is there any evidence that this rule holds across all historical eras and all the systems? And what do you think?
I think you're absolutely right. I mean, if you look at history, okay, if you look at history, I'll give you an example about a thing that's a little bit different for Europeans. It's the concept of harem. Okay, European rulers throughout centuries, medieval centuries, and everything, they had like single wives. There was no polygamy, probably because of the Catholic Church, and followed by the Protestant church or something like that. It was a religious thing, but they all had like mistresses. Henry VIII had mistresses. Louis from France had everybody had mistresses. Okay, now in the Ottoman times, the Padishah, the ruler of the Ottoman Empire, he had a freaking harem. The guy's like, okay, we fought in war. Half of us died. I almost died in war. We conquered all these land. We got all this food. We got all this gold. What do you think I'm going to do with it? I'm just going to sit down and like look at the gold? No, I want women. And I want a different woman every freaking night. This is a powerful man when we'll get it. So I'll tell you another thing. Every man in the world will want more women. It is the ones who are in marriage, monogamous marriages. The reason they cannot have more women is they don't have the opportunity and the resources to have it. If you put a woman in front of a married man and it's like, go for it, he will go for it. It's only they cannot achieve that woman. That's why they're in polygamous marriage. They support polygamy. It's like their necessity has become their virtue. Every man wants more women. So this is our masculine side, but only few men will get it.
Yeah, even as you said, even powerful Catholic men from the history had more women if they were kings and so forth, even popes and so forth. It's not as if I say let's do it, let's legalize it or something like that. We're only talking about facts, and this is an interesting thing about politics. I have this right-wing nationalistic neo-pagan friends who'd like to say that no, it's not Catholic Church that took us there, that there was the least that we had the least polygamic societies, at least until now. And I don't even know if that's true. It's the nature of the European people, for example. We Europeans are such in nature that we are more prone to monogamy. For example, they're trying to say this, but I'm also saying this, that it's not something to be to brag with, because it implies also that your strong men don't have any will to power, because willing to have more women also means having willing to having more will to power and so forth, and to brag with having a monogamous genes. It's really cringe. Do you have an opinion on it?
Yeah. So here's the deal. Okay. So what your friend is saying, look, probably a monogamous society may be an ideal society if women were completely feminine and loyal to the man, and men were okay with it. Okay. But in the ideal world, that's how it goes. But we live in a real world. Okay. When your friend says, okay, well, we were totally monogamous, you were monogamous on paper, but we don't know how many women that Roman soldier or the Slovenian soldier had when he was conquesting other lands. Maybe he had banged 30 chicks. He's got half of the Europe comes from one gene. We don't know. So you have to look at genetic studies to actually say that man is monogamous, not on paper. You know, man may have one wife, but maybe he's banging the whole neighborhood. You don't know that. Okay.
Yeah.
So we don't know that. We cannot say we know that. Now, here's another thing I will tell you about what Rose says and what coincides with the Islamic countries, not in Turkey, because polygamic marriage is illegal, but countries like Saudi Arabia and Islam. Like in Islam, you can, according to Quran, you can have 4 wives. Okay. Rollo has a book on religion. Okay, but I have to make an input on this. Now, when you have 4 wives, okay, both of the needs of both men and the woman are satisfied. And this is how. Okay, when you have a monogamic marriage, okay, the woman is satisfied because she is cared for and the child is looked after. So her sexual strategy is satisfied by being with the best man, because that is her sexual strategy. However, the man's sexual strategy is to be not with one woman, but to have multiple women and spread the genes throughout the world. I'm not talking about 21st century. I'm talking about 2 million years ago, where we're still apes. Okay, we're trying to spread the gene. That's how. I'm not talking about men. I'm talking about a male animal. Okay, so we're still like that. But in Islam, when the 4 wives are married to one high value guy, the guy says, well, I have 4 wives. I can change them every day. And my sexual strategy of being with another woman, multiple women, is satisfied. And each woman can say, I am with the strongest man, and my sexual strategy is also satisfied. So I'm not like supporting, any religion or anything here. I'm talking about philosophically about a system. Okay, I'm talking about philosophically about a system. So when men can have more wives, their sexual strategy is set up. But if you look at today, in a monogamic relationship, a female will come into the relationship and will get the best man when she's 35 years old, when she's all like used up and everything. And she is blocking the man's sexual strategy to breed more. So she has to give something that she doesn't. You understand my point?
Yeah, of course. This is. I promised you that we won't be too long today. Then we will talk. We can talk about a lot of topics some other time. So my last question today would be: I know you're not probably not a. Correct me if I'm wrong. You're probably not a big Erdogan guy, and but would you say that Islam would solve some problems with hypergamy if it would be an Islam like in Saudi Arabia, for example, or pre-Ataturk times?
Yeah. So this is a question that always comes up, and everybody discusses that. So I don't think Islam will solve hypergamy. It may solve some of the promiscuity, but not necessarily hypergamy. Now, hypergamy always exists in women, okay? But the expression of hypergamy it has changed in the last 20 years, and especially in the last 5 years after Instagram, after Facebook, after social media. So women will always harbor hypergamy. They want. That's how the best genes will survive. But now hypergamy has evolved into promiscuity, and that's the problem. Islam probably blocks some of the promiscuity and the promiscuous tendencies of women, but hypergamy will stay. Another thing that I've seen is even in Islamic marriages, okay, the women can still be very, very dominant after the marriage and can express the men's thoughts, okay? So when the society changes, she might be very Islamic and wearing a veil and everything, but at home she can still be the boss and she can still dominate the husband. She can cut off sex. She can treat him badly. We see this. So hypergamy does not have any borders. It does not have any religion. It's just all around the world. And with social media and globalization of this female nature, it's just doesn't matter what you believe in or what country you're from, what religion or ethnic background. Every woman wants to live a girls' summer or something like that. Girls' night out in some way.
Girls' night out. Yeah, I like one last question. One really last question. It just popped out. If you have it's highly speculative question, but can women as a majority be a part of a nationalistic movement? In other words, is hypergamy stronger than national identity in women?
Oh, absolutely.
Or religious identity?
That is a very good question, and I'll answer you with what Rollo says. It's a good point. Okay, you have to read what is known as War Brides. War Brides. Okay, so written by Rollo Tomassi. And I'm going to give you an example about Dutch woman under German invasion in the Second World War. They were, they lost their Dutch identity and they were sleeping with German officers and bearing their childs because now it's the Germans were the strong conquering tribe.
Yeah.
Dutch woman and even the French woman, they submitted to the German men, even though their Dutch citizens were, getting tortured and killed. Okay. So hypergamy does not have any nationality. It doesn't have any national bearings. Whoever is strong, the woman will submit. Just like in the movie, it's a good movie, Tom Cruise movie, Last Samurai. Tom Cruise kills the woman's husband in samurai fighting, and then next thing the wife is sleeping with Tom Cruise. Come on, man.
But it's reality. It's a reality.
It's the reality.
Okay, Doc. Thank you. We've been on for an hour. Just as we spoke about it, I hope I can get you on for a couple of other times to discuss other topics.
Great. Let's do it, my friend.
Great. Thank you once more. Please, if someone wants to subscribe to my little channel, my last one got erased, I'd be very pleased. Otherwise, thanks to all the people that commented, that watched this stream, and subscribe also to Dr. Red Pill Turkey on YouTube, and have a good evening and good night.
Thank you for having me. It was great, Alex. It was great to meet you. And then we will do more shows. I think we're going to have a lot of fun and exchange a lot of great ideas.
Great. Thank you. Good evening.
Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.